Hello, hello. So this one was actually pretty interesting. It came about when I think I was in a Murko stream, and he was trying to do a similar challenge to what this is, where he was trying to get pets that start with MERKO in each of the five pet slots. He ended up doing it, which I'm very, very happy for because it clearly took him a while. He was clearly like very dedicated to that challenge, but I thought that during that stream, I should have a go at it. Um, Immediately I couldn't think of anything that started with a U, and I think Edub was the one that pointed out unicorn to me. Um, and so I started this kind of journey to get the run going, but what I realized very quickly on is that I do not have many options. E is fairly easy. Um, I could only think of like iguana and ibex as the only two. U there is just unicorn, and Q, uh, there's like Quetzalcoatl and Questing Beast, both of which like really don't help all that much. Um, so yeah, to start this run off, I had a fairly sizable weasel. I had Competo and War of Youth in this pack because I was like fully kind of prepared um, to like make a big weasel or a big swan or something like that for economy, and then Competo that or War of Youth it into something that will actually work for the challenge. But that's not what ended up happening this run. I buy a wall chicken for tempo because I have wyverns and I want as many chances to get level ups that I need on turn 5 as I can. And every wyvern is basically like half a tier up in some roundabout way. Here we don't get the unicorn immediately, so I decide after taking the beta fish pill, I'll settle for lobster. The reason I do that, like I have sea anemone as well, but it's not quite as good for this I don't think, because you end up buffing units that you will then have to Competo and War of Youth, and you have to hit those, and like it's only a very small chance that you'll get the units you need. So I decided to take Lobster and try and just keep as much tempo as I can by keeping this hatching chick on board and just continuing buff Weasel. We face against a team that seems to be breeding quite a bit, which is nice. But the plan for this is essentially to try and like get some actual use out of Ibex and find a way to run a full squad with like Lioness buffing the shop. I wanted to do it in a cooler way. Like I wanted to have actually scaled all of the units up from the start with them all being on board, but I just couldn't find a way to make it work in the current customs pool. We faced Inkstigo, who kind of kills us with that, but we still have 3 lives, so I'm not too worried. And we're on turn 7 now. I take the level with 2 extra wyverns on board, and I find chicken, which I have in the pack. So this is quite greedy, to be honest, to go for this line on 3 lives. But the other thing to note is that I'm on 2 wins, and so I, like, kind of similar to what we saw in the AFK challenge, this game will go quite late. And so we kind of have to take that into account. We unfortunately lose here due to some level up tempo, but that's okay. Sell the other wyvern, mainly because like the 2-2 permanently from this is actually fairly decent tempo as well. I level up into another chicken, and at this point I'm kind of just deciding to like You know, I have an extra life to work with. I want to just kind of greed as much as possible and get my shop as big as I can before I die. Because I think that's ultimately, like, when we're already on 2 lives, that's kind of the only way that this build goes anywhere. Is if we're able to somehow maintain lives and then just kind of have a close to 50-50 shop and be able to just buy all of the things immediately and get, like, these huge tempo spikes. You find double chocolate in the shop, which is kind of crazy. You level up into another chicken, level up into lioness. And at this point I realize, like, my board is very, very greedy, even with 2 lives. So I take Eagle just to keep a little bit of tempo, and also because I can keep Eagle on the final board, because it starts with an E. Face a Seahorse, which messes up our order quite a bit. Unfortunately lose to some fairly bad breakpoints. So at this point, I'm on 1 life. I take the chicken level, and I just, like, take this blue ring. And I want to just start kind of cycling some things. Like, I take cow as well. Just because I want stats more immediately. And I want to be able to keep chicken and lioness on board and survive. So in the same vein, I take Ibex here. Ibex in general is pretty bad. The problem with it is that, especially in Arena, you really can't control where it will hit. Like here, even you'll see that it just doesn't become relevant to anything because we already have enough stats. I think it, like, reduced the health of something, but I don't think it was actually relevant. I could have actually waffled this anglerfish for another turkey if I wanted to. But I reasoned that that was a little bit too expensive. I sell the Ibex again. I decided that with turkey, I just wanted some summons to keep tempo. I buy a melon on the platypus, and don't worry, we will come back around for the Ibex. It's just that we wanna keep lioness and chicken on board. We wanna get away with as much as we can here. Run into a fairly weak scaling team with a back elephant, which we're able to get through. And I'm starting to get to the point in customs where I'm becoming familiar with a lot of the names. Like that was Need, who I usually see running somewhat interesting builds, at least comparatively to the people that just kind of run Jersey Devil shenanigans. We get a second lioness on board, and my hope is that the level 2 eagle plus the extra stats from buying something and, like, stacking it from the shop is enough to get through this fight. Face a pretty big wombat team, and it copies the eagle, but luckily they are still breeding a little bit with elk, so we have enough. So the shop is around 30-30 at this point. We ideally want it to be as close to 50-50 as possible, as I mentioned before. But that's not really all that realistic. Here I did a little bit of a stupid thing. I could have just taken the other mongoose and then cycled the oyster first. But honestly, I jog a lot of my mistakes in these kind of runs down to not playing optimally for the sake of playing faster. When a challenge like this requires very specific units, like, you know, I need exactly Quetzalcoatl or Questing Beast, I need exactly Unicorn, I need, like, exactly Ibex in this case. I tend to play a lot faster to just get more raw attempts in, which, like, will result in some misplays, but I think overall it is worth it to just complete more attempts. I'm rolling past these lioness because I noticed, like, I'm on 1 life and 6 wins. All of a sudden, there's not that much time left. After these lionesses buff, I kind of just want to roll for the specific units that I need. We face a whale mammoth team. It's basically just turtle pack with a chinchilla. Maybe they're achievement hunting. But okay. We're now in like 40-40 territory with the shop. I find Quetzalcoatl, which I'll take, and Unicorn in the same shop. So now we're just missing Ibex. It's not worth it, really, to level anything. I took the Eagle just because it brought it up to the stats of the shop. But it's not worth to level any of these, because, like, basically nothing synergizes. The only thing I would level is the Ibex. No, I'll show you why in a little bit. Do you see I have Eggplant frozen? Because buying Eggplant with an Ibex on board, which I will always have at some point, is essentially just like a Hyper Durian. That's like also at the start of battle. Because if you think about it, the front 2 units are almost always going to be the largest ones on like every arena team that's scaling in any way. And so we're essentially able to get a 70% health reduction on a high health unit and also mess up the order of opponents. Like, look here, this is already 34. And we also mess up the 1-up turtle. We mess up the amount of melons given to the rest of the team. I take level 2 Ibex. At this point, we're on 9 wins. I have to run a full squad. My name only has 4 letters in it. And I have to position them in the right way as well. I buy melon on Ibex. I was looking for another eggplant here so that I could get the value of a level 2 Ibex, but I didn't end up finding it in time, so I just took a little bit of extra stats from Cow. I couldn't have really done anything with Mongoose because Ibex needs to be first. I position correctly here. Eagle first, then Quetzalcoatl, then Unicorn, then Ibex. And actually this eggplant ends up being pretty relevant if I remember. Because if we look here... this was like a massive snipe team with level 3 Albatross. And their plan was to like get Fig here and Dolphin and Tiger. Which would like all snipe for 13 each, but because we bring the skunk to the 3rd spot first, there's a lot less snipes, and our units are able to survive. So that's the run. We were on 1 life for a very long time, and I suppose we did greed quite a bit. But again, this was the result of like quite a lot of attempts. I was grinding this for quite a while. But I'm glad to have done it now, because that means I can finally move on to better things. Like, I mean, mainly I just want to now make builds that people haven't done as much. Or like, ideally completely new builds that nobody's seen before. But I'll have to get back in the lab for that one, I think. Also, one more thing. I was considering making like a Discord server, and then I could like use the bots and stuff to notify people when I upload a video or go live on Twitch. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. I don't really know how many people would be like consistently watching my content if I posted more often here, but yeah, if you think that that's something I should set up, let me know. Alright, thank you for watching. Have a good day, everybody. Love you.